Hi guys. Greetings, greetings. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's well. Hi Emily. I'm okay. I'm okay. I did do some research today. Oh, thank you, Mick. Appreciate it. I appreciate you. So I did do today what I said I was gonna do. I called my vet and I called a bunch of other vets, okay, because so I called my vet, they referred me to a hospital. I called them. So that hospital that I called, the first one, which is UF, which is like the, it's like a college. It's like huge. Everybody knows it. It's in Gainesville. And they said that, first of all, they're on a waiting list for surgeries. And that it will cost anywhere between $3,500 and $6,500 to get the surgery done. I was like, okay, like that's not even feasible, like, at all. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. So I was like, okay, what to do next? So I called like 6 or 7, and I started getting discouraged, right? And then I made myself lunch, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna have to keep trying to call tomorrow. Each day I have to just use some time of the day and call different vets. But then suddenly I get a phone call, and it is a vet really close to me in Summerfield. I'm in Oxford. Or in Wildwood, but Oxford. It's all close. And they called me back because I had left a voicemail. Nobody had picked up. And they called me back and they said they actually do surgery, because the biggest thing was that there was only one place, UF, that I had found that actually does the soft tissue surgery in my area, right? Which is not a big deal, because I could have looked in Orlando or Tampa too. I could have further, But these guys are like around the corner from me. They said they do the soft tissue surgery. They also accept care credit, which is good. But they would have to look at her first in order to be able to give me an estimate. Because they don't know exactly. I explained to them that I think it's a diaphragmatic, hernia, because it's in the lungs. So that, but they said they have to look at her and to determine how much it would cost for the surgery. So, and then I said, okay, then let's make an appointment. Fine, And unfortunately, they don't have anything open until the 23rd, okay, which is like, but I'm on the cancellation list, which is anybody that cancels before then, they will call me immediately and fit me in. And I can imagine that I'm sure somebody's going to cancel before then, But, yeah, so the hope is there, I guess. They're going to look at her, and if they can give me a good estimate, if they can do, like, anything, I can do up to, like, $1,000 is what I can do. I cannot go past that. I really just don't have the money. That it's impossible for me, so I don't know. But I did ask the people from UF, too. I said, I hope so, too. Thank you. I asked them, do you guys do payment plans or something? No, we don't do payment plans. And I was like, okay, whatever. I don't know how people can afford this shit. This is fucking crazy. This is crazy. I mean, and this is not a surgery. I did research on it many times already. This is not a surgery that is like something too crazy. You know what I mean? This is not a surgery where she has to stay in the hospital for a week and be super, nothing like that. It takes not even that long from if I research correctly, and still they want so much money. But I'm really just hoping that maybe these people can work something out with me somehow, man. I'm fucking stressed out. Poor little girl. She's such a poor girl. Well, that's what I got for now. So hopefully they'll call me and say, somebody canceled, you can come in. So my poor brother has to suffer and take me there again. of course. But I did it on I made the appointment on a day that he's off, because he told me, like, please do that. And I was like, okay. So I made sure I did it on a Tuesday, so, or Monday or Tuesday, so, yeah, hopefully it'll be okay. I think it can be. I think she can be okay. It's just the money situation is the thing, you know. That's gonna be what's gonna decide everything, you know. And I hate that shit. I really hate that. But that's just how it is. But anyway, how are you doing, Emily? Everything good with you? How did your test go? I know. Oh my god. That's ridiculous. That's so ridiculous, man. Oh my god. Yeah, in comparison, yeah. I mean, she's so small, you know. But that's just... what we do for the creatures we love, you know? Oh, good. That's good. That's good. I always had very much problems with tests. Like, it was like these things where as soon as I sit in front of a test, I just blacked out. Everything that I had learned was just gone out of my head. So that was always my problem in school. Work was good, actually. It was relaxing. My boss was kind and nice. My manager is always cool. She's never mean or anything like that. But it was a little bit slower. But for how slow it was, I still did good money wise. So I can pay my my water and my internet bill probably tomorrow, which is good. So, yeah, it wasn't too bad. I was kind of happy that it was not too busy, you know. Sometimes it's nice when it's not too busy. When I'm so tired, you know, because of my sleeping problems here lately. So it was, like, nice that it wasn't super busy where I'm, like, running around. And I took a nap right there with her. I was laying on the side there. I took a nap earlier for like 10 minutes. And then I woke up and it was so fucked up because when I had a dream. I was dreaming and it was a fucked up dream. Okay, so it's almost like I was catapulted back into time, right? Because in my dream, I was, you know, in my Viking armor. Okay, I had a sword, I had my axe, I had my leather on and everything. I had my hair tied back and everything, ready for battle. Okay, that was in the dream because there was a battle that was gonna happen and it was like gonna be a bloody slaughter. Okay, and we had to prepare for it. It was me and other people, but you know, it was kind of weird. And it was like the environment that I found myself in was like snowy, but not snowy. It was kind of weird, right? And Draven was there, and it was like I had to prepare, and I was training, and so far so good, right? So far it's like okay, but then came the biggest test of the training. He let a tiger loose, a huge tiger. But he had a muzzle on, but he let the tiger loose and the tiger started attacking me. And he let it loose. He said, this tiger's going to attack you now and you have to fight this tiger to the death because you have to prepare for this kind of battle that's going to occur to you. And I was like, oh shit. And it was still, I wasn't like super, super shocked or anything, but I was just kind of like, damn, that's like fucking... okay, let's do it then, you know. And then the tiger, though, it was so messed up because whenever I have dreams of anything violent that occurs, I never can seem to do it. When I dream I hit somebody, like I hit like super soft. and it's like it never hits them, and it's like this every time, you know. And this dream was very similar, because what happened then was that so what happened, yeah, so I'm fighting this tiger, I'm kicking, I'm doing all this stuff, and it's all soft, right? And I can tell, like, why am I not kicking harder? Like, why am I not really and the motherfucker's coming at me with the claws and everything. At some point, I fell backwards, because, like I said, my kicks and my hits and all that were so weak that I couldn't really do anything. I fell backwards, and I was laying on my back like a bug, and the tiger was on top of me, leaning on top of me like this, and just trying to, like, but was on top of me, but was so heavy. This was so heavy, and I can remember in the dream, I was thinking to myself, like, even if my father was like a big dude, right? I was just imagining, even if my own father would be on top of me like this, like holding me down or something, it would not be that heavy. Like, I was just like comparing, you know, in my head, in my dream, this tiger was so heavy on me, and I couldn't get him off of me. And it was really like, then at some point it was like, okay, I can't get him off, so I'm just gonna wake up, right? Weird. Even so, in my dream, I didn't know that I was dreaming. I'm twisted. Okay, forgive me. I'm fucking twisted. So then I woke up, and I was laying there like this on my arm, and I'm laying there, and I'm looking at Skinny, and I'm like, waking up slowly. I'm like, oh my god, this fucking tiger. I don't know why I dreamed. I mean, a tiger is kind of like, okay, we get it, Dragana. You have 12 cats. It's very obvious that this was a tiger. It was not a gorilla. It was not a fucking elephant. It was a tiger. You know? So it was like, okay. Weird dream. Weird. But yeah, that was the dream. Always have these wild dreams. And then the other time I talked about this dream, how I dreamed I was in Egypt, and I was like amidst the pyramids, and the wind was blowing, and sand was flying, and behind me I heard this scream, but it was so like a weird scream. It was like screeching, but at the same time super low. It was really weird, and it was behind me, and it was like, in my head, it was just like a mummy that was screaming. But it wasn't like to attack me, but it was a warning scream, okay? And at the same time, there was a lion that was approaching me, a big lion with a big mane. And it wasn't trying to attack me, but it was approaching me, and it didn't have any eyes. It had just black holes and then like blackness around the holes. And it was just approaching me, but it could see. You know, was it, yeah, like you could tell that the lion could see, even so it didn't have any eyes. The scream was a little bit scary at first, but when I realized that it was like a warning to me about something, then I just took it in, and I was like, okay, it's information. It's not something to be scared about. But the lion was not scary, because the lion came up to me like, you can know and feel that it was a creature of wisdom. It was not something that was going to attack me. It was something, a symbol of some sort, you know what I mean? And that was a really cool dream. That dream was one of those dreams that I actually put on record, because I have a dream journal that I keep, because sometimes, you know, we astral project, and sometimes we dream. And this is one of those dreams where it was a little bit unclear, you know, where it could have been like either or for me. But it was definitely meaningful. It was very meaningful what it was, but yeah. Yeah, and it was a short dream too, you know, I don't know. Just like the tiger dream just now. You know, I only napped for like, I don't even know how long I napped. But yeah, so yep, that's I have noticed I really have to keep my naps to like a specific amount. It cannot be too long. If it's too long, then I won't wake up. Then I'm sluggish and super tired for the rest of the night. And then when bedtime comes, I'm wide awake. So I can't do that. So my naps can be like maybe 10 minutes or something, you know. Yeah, 10 minutes. is what I'm thinking. 10-15 minutes. Just really just like knock yourself out for 10 minutes and then wake up again, you know, because I feel good right now. I feel refreshed. I feel tired still, but I feel good, you know. I don't feel like, yeah, exactly. So I do that now every day. But it's almost like I think I shouldn't do that, because I think that might have an adverse effect on me, because it's like now causing me that I regain so much energy, even so I'm tired, but I regain so much energy that then again at like 11-12 o'clock I don't sleep again, because just 10 minutes, my body is like that. My body just doesn't need that much to regain another like 3 to 4 hours of energy, you know. I'm just always like, I have a lot of energy. I'm always tired. That never stops, but I have energy. That's weird. But, you know. So. Just a lot going on. But I think that if once I get that stuff in order with Skinny, I can relax. Once I get that, I get her the help, because that's something, you know, every day I'm worried about her. You know, when you're just constantly stressed and constantly have anxiety about your cat, and she's suffering, she's not feeling well, and, you know, then you're just stressed out. So once that's taken care of, then I can kind of relax a little bit, you know. And always watching her, that she doesn't get into this where she can't breathe again, you know what I mean. Okay, so the other vet already asked me for my information on what vet I with, and I gave them the information, and they said they were gonna contact them, and they were gonna look at the stuff. This is good these days, you know. Yeah, I know, because it cost me like $235 for one X-ray. That's the X-rays is the reason why I'm so in debt, because they had to take 2 X-rays, so I was like at like $500 just with X-rays, and then the medication 2 times, examination, and then the one time they had to send in to a specialist the X-rays the second time to figure out that's a hernia. That was another $200. All in all, it was like $1,300. But if they have the X-rays, right, then yeah, exactly like you said. But, you know, these are the good things nowadays with, you know, internet and computers. You know, they can just totally call up, say, hey, we need the information for this and this person for the cat Skinny. Can you send it per email? Boom, and then they can send it. That's wonderful. You know, I love that. So, and my vet is good. You know, my vet is good. My clinic is good. There's multiple veterinarians that work there. I have my preferences. Dr. Saxton, he's okay, but he's like, he doesn't explain that shit to you. He just like gives medicine and then sends you home, and then he doesn't tell you like what happens next. Now Dr. Korn is really great. She's very sweet, and she's very much like, she comes in there and she will explain in detail like what's going on, what we're gonna do, and what's gonna happen next, and and the texts are all good. I like them all except for one. He's kind of like, he is with Dr. Sexton, and he's like, I don't know, he's kind of like also just the same way. Just he does it. They're not unfriendly. They're very friendly, but they just don't explain really much stuff. Last time I went home, I had no fucking idea. I was like, okay, so I got this medicine here now. What about the albuterol? How do I get albuterol? They said, oh, you can just buy albuterol over the counter, and you buy her the stuff, because she couldn't breathe, right? They had given her multiple albuterol treatments that were actually not really successful at all. Because we can understand why. Because it's a hernia. It's not the actual lung that's like not being able, you know, it's a different thing that's going on. So that's why the albuterol wasn't really helpful. Yeah, I know. So he says, okay, you got to get this mask thing for the cat that connects to the albuterol inhaler. And I said, okay, so can I get that on Amazon? He said, yeah. He said, let me send you a link for which one you exactly need to get. Okay, cool. So he sends me this link. It's like, okay. And then when they give me all the medication, it's the tech again, right? He gives me the meds and everything. And then he's like, okay, you're on the way. And I said, okay, so what about the albuterol? You guys don't give me that? And I knew the whole time pretty much that albuterol is not, you cannot purchase this over the counter. My mom had emphysema and my mom had COPD, and she had to get that prescription for albuterol inhalers every time. Like, there was no over the counter. And he looks at me, he goes, oh no, you can just buy that, over the counter. You can buy that at Walmart or Walgreens. And I was like, okay. And I thought to myself, well, maybe things have changed since my mom. It's been like, 7 years or whatever. Maybe things have changed. Maybe it's over the counter now. I don't know. So I'm just going home. So when I come home, I open the message that Dr. Saxton has sent me with the link. I click on it. It's not a link. It's just the information. I was like, okay, what the fuck? So I go on Amazon. I buy that thing. Then I'm like, okay, albuterol. And I'm looking for like an hour. Everything that you can find is prescription only. You cannot find the inhaler just like that, and I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, this is really ridiculous. And then I just said to myself, whatever, I'm just going to start, continuing to giving her the prednisolone. And they gave me then more antibiotics, but stronger antibiotics. I said, I'm just going to have to try my luck with that because, hey, Florida Metal, because the albuterol didn't help in the first place over there at the vet clinic. So I was like, if it didn't help, then why bother, And then as I give her the treatment, the antibiotics and the steroids, she showed improvement. The first 3 days was scary because the first 3 days, literally, she was under the bed and she just slept. And she would crawl around there with her leg like this because of that fucking hernia, crawl around, and then I would bring her food underneath, and she would get up, and she would eat the food, and I'd have to crawl underneath the mattress every day 2 times and give her medicine. And she would get up, eat the food, and then she would lay right back down. That's the first 3 days, and I was like, that is not good. That is not a good sign. I was like, that is not good, and I was freaking out. But then my best friend, she goes, maybe she just needs rest. Like, maybe it was just a lot at the vet. Because it was a lot. She went through a lot. She had to get into the oxygen cage. She had to get the albuterol. She had to get more x-rays. She was in there for a while. It was stressful for her. So I'm like, okay, maybe she's right. And then literally on like day 4, she came out of there all on her own and was like good old girl again. Kind of like, she sleeps a lot, but she's always done that, probably because she's always had that hernia for a long time. So she sleeps all the time, but she's acting. I watch her when she walks to her food, when she looks at me, how she yawns, how she acts. She acts good. She acts okay, so as long as she acts like this, it's okay, So yeah, I'm just nervous because of course she doesn't have the medicine now. But if the antibiotics they already helped, we were able to see a difference in the X-rays he even showed it to me from the first time the X-ray was taken to the second time. There's this white lining that was there, and that had now went away a lot due to the antibiotics, or so Dr. Saxton said. So. And these were weaker antibiotics. These are Clavamax or whatever they're called. And he gave the really strong antibiotics. They have a 2 name. D blah 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 with an H and the second word, I don't know, something. And now hopefully that cleared out this. He thinks it was fluid in the lung due to the hernia, right? And due to a respiratory, probably, because my cats had a respiratory infection and it went all around through all my cats, back and forth, and she probably caught that, and that is what caused her to accumulate fluids in her lungs, which does not help. And then the hernia on top of it. So hopefully these antibiotics cleared out this fluid in her lungs now. I think that's what we saw on the X-ray. So then she should be okay for now. Stressful. It's okay though. You know, I'm learning a lot. Throughout all my years with all these animals, I learn a lot. And I wanted to become a veterinarian when I was a teenager, but I was an athlete and I was lazy in school. That's all I can say. And it's like, I told Draven the other day, I said, I need to be a mechanic, like a car mechanic. I need to be a lawyer, and I need to be a veterinarian. Then my life will be okay. You know what I'm saying? Shit. That's ridiculous. That's like, okay, wait. Veterinarian, 8 years. Lawyer, 8 years. And then mechanic, 3 years. Okay, we can do it. It's like only 20 years, and then I can... So when I'm like almost 60, I can be in a good position. No. I'm not doing that now. It's too late. One profession. Still considering... if I ever get my sponsor to be here, then still considering going to school for astrophysics, either astrophysics, something with languages, or zoology. Those are my 3 things. Zoology, because I want to have baby lions. I want to have lion cubs in my home, and I want to feed them with a bottle. That is the sole reason why I want to go to school for zoology. But it is funny because my mom told me, my mom went to school for a little while to become a veterinarian, but then things happened. Actually, I happened. So it was kind of like whatever. But she said, oh, really? Yeah? You think that's how it's going to go? She's like, that's not all zoology is all about, that you get to do all this nice stuff. Because you have to shovel shit. You have to go in the stalls of these animals. You have to shovel the shit. You have to do all that. I'm like, I'm okay with it. I shovel shit. I don't care. Animals? I don't care. I'll do that. As long as I can take a cup home. Or I can take a gator home and feed it with a bottle. I love it. Or any animal. Besides, I will not, I'm not a big bug person. I'm not going to really hang out with bugs unless they're like butterflies or dragonflies or something like that. And spiders. They are wonderful creatures. I will not kill them or nothing like that because they're living creatures and I love them. But I can't. Like when I see a spider, I have to be just like please, just no, you can't come close. Please go away. Because I can't. When they do this with their legs, it's so... And people are always like, you're scared. I'm not scared at all. I don't think they're going to hurt me. I don't think they're going to kill me. I'm not afraid. I'm grossed out. It is gross to me how they're like... It's so gross. And I really got to say, like a tarantula is less gross to me than another spider. Because a tarantula has the furry, and they have like these really thick arms, right? That doesn't bother me. But when I see spiders, like if they're like this big, they can be this big or smaller, and I'm okay. You know, I'm not really. But when I see spider that's like this big, and they have like the pointy legs, and then they go like this. No. I'm gonna vomit. I gotta vomit. It's so gross to me. Yeah, spiders are not really my thing. Yeah. But I love snakes. Snakes are just... I would love to have a snake. I love snakes. I love snails. My mom always taught me, like, when we were kids, we always had snails on our fingers. Caterpillars, oh, they're so cute. I love them, especially when they're furry, too. Ladybugs, don't mind. Now flies, they're shitty. They're annoying. Mosquitoes, shitty and annoying. You know, bees, awesome. Wasps. Now, when we talk about being scared, anything like that, like a mud dauber or whatever that shit's called, a wasp, a hornet, these motherfuckers, I run. You want to know what scares Dragana? These things. They scare me. No. That is pure fear, and I'm out of there. And they fly around on my porch all the time, and I'm like, oh, close the door. I see them, I'm like, oh, get away from me, get away. But I don't want to, like, hit them, or I don't want to aggravate them, because then they get even more aggressive, you know, because they defend, you know, and I don't want to kill their nest there, because I don't want to kill them, you know. So Jerry's like, you gotta kill them. He comes out there with spray, and he sprays the shit out of the nest, and I'm like, please just spray when they're not there, so that the nest just falls out and they just go somewhere else. Oh my God, no. That must have been swollen up. Oh my God, no. You know what? This has me so impressed now. Like, this impression is just like burned into my brain now. Bet you I'm going to dream about some shit like that tonight. Had a wasp crawl up my pants and stung my inner thigh twice. Oh my God. I remember I had an encounter. I was stung, I think, by a hornet or a wasp, either one of those two, in my foot as a kid. And no, it was a hornet. It was a hornet. Because with a hornet is like, it hurts and it itches too. That's another thing. Deer fly and horse flies, those fuckers are fucked. They will get me. When I go to the springs here in Florida to swim, I spray myself down with so much bug spray, because even when I'm in the water, they land on me. Most of the time, they land right on my chest, and then they sting me. And that shit is not. It hurts and it itches at the same time, and it becomes like this. It's like a hive, you know. It's like, I hate them. I hate that whole thing, and they're just so. Oh man, I don't like them at all. But what I also did, I haven't had an encounter one time with a tick. I was in Georgia. I'll never forget this. Oh, Serenity of Wind. Hey, yeah. Look in the stream. Or are you? Yeah, you're in Twitch. Yeah, look in the stream. How much for the readings? You can get a 1-card reading right now if you want. Goth Kim K? Kim K? Who is that? I want to know what this is the meaning of. Because if I'm thinking the right thing, then I'm about to like be really humbled, because that would be a compliment in my opinion. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, so I had the encounter with the tick. I was in Georgia, and I was on one of the hugest, ginormous. Hi, Bone Lush. How are you? Cemeteries, or I should say graveyards, I've ever seen in my life. That graveyard literally had tiers that you had to drive up with the car. It was incredible. It was so beautiful and incredible, right? So we were there, and we were there for a long time, because, you know, me and the graveyard, I mean, come on now. You can't get me away. But it was in the high summer in Georgia, right? In Georgia and Florida, you know, Georgia is just 2 hours away, 2.5, and it was scorching. I'm talking about we were drenched in sweat, all of us. There was no way. It was unbelievably hot. We got done there, and we went to downtown. We went to Macon, downtown Macon, and they have this bar. Or was it Macon? Or was it another town? We went one day. We went to Macon. The other time we went to another town, and they had this retro bar there. It was like this video game bar, right, where they have all the retro video games like Mario and all that stuff. And the whole bar was like painted like that too, and decorated like that. It was so awesome, right? I was like, dude, this is really great, because I love that stuff, right? So it was good. And I go to the bathroom, and I pull my pants down, and I sit there, and I look, and I feel like something's itching, and on my inner thigh, just like you, Emily, something's itching. And I'm like looking, I'm like, holy shit, it's a fucking tick that's like in my leg. But it was not one of the fat ones, a tiny one, really tiny one, right? And I was like, what the hell am I supposed to do? I'm like, I've never had this before. You know, I don't know how to, should I pull it out? Should I run to the doctor? Whatever. All right, Serenity, we'll do that. You still haven't told me what that meant with Goth Kim K. You gotta tell me. I want to know. So anyway, I just like, I was a couple beers in, right? So I'm like, you know what? I took the you know, like on my thigh, and I took the tick, and I just pulled it out of my thing, and I pulled it right out. And it fell out of my hand. It was still crawling around. I was like, well, and I flushed it down the toilet, you know. But I just pulled it right out of my leg. It came right out, too. I must have probably gotten it from the graveyard, you know, being in the graveyard, because I was sitting on the ground, too, and stuff like that. So let's see. All right, Serenity, you ready? You have anything in particular that you want to know about, or you just in general? Okay. Oh, okay. No, I mean, it's a valid question. Okay. Oh. Huh. Okay. So, we can see here that right now you're going through something. Card is strength inverted. So right now you're kind of going through, it's like surrender and defeat. You feel defeated, and you feel like you want to just surrender. Okay, that's what we're seeing right here. Could be in general, or could be some particular situation that you feel that, you know, I'm not sure, but it is definitely a feeling that you're going through right now. We have the 10 of Swords, okay? Always mix up the yeah. I thought so. So, unfortunately, this is talking about ruin, misery, unbearable sorrow, physical or mental turmoil, okay? Talking about you going through something like that right now, okay? Now this is the 7 of Pentacles inverted, okay? So I feel like this is the culprit for these two, because you are kind of doubting your own abilities, okay? That's something that's happening for you right now. You're doubting your own abilities, and there's a lack of progress. unfortunately. You're impatient, and yeah. So whatever this is, could be your job, could be, your personal, could be anything. If you can relate it to something, you have some stuff right now that is like weighing on you heavily. That's what I see. It's it kind of depresses you, and it's not really optimal situation for you right now. So you should probably, a change of scenery can help, or even like, sometimes meditative, strategies can help. Whatever you consider meditative to you, that's different for everybody. You don't have to sit there, like this. Sometimes doing something for yourself can be very therapeutic. Okay, it can set you back into a go-getter mode. You know what I mean? So yeah, that concludes you here, Serenity. I hope that was a little bit. I hope you could resonate with it, and it gave you a little bit of an insight on You're welcome. I hope things will work out for you. I hope that things will look up for you soon. It does really bother me when I know that somebody else is not doing so well, and all I can do is kind of just give a little bit of an advice, and a little bit of guidance in some way for them to feel better, I guess, or what you could do. What better advice to take than from my own, myself, because, oh God. So I hope everybody's doing well. Frigga's Day is upon us tomorrow, guys. It is Friday tomorrow. Oh, it's Cinco de Mayo tomorrow. Cinco de Mayo tomorrow. So, anybody plan anything? I used to have this thing going on with my former best friend. Every Cinco de Mayo we would go, and we would just stop at every Mexican restaurant in the area and order margaritas and chips and salsa. That was our thing that we always did together. All day long. And I remember one particular Cinco de Mayo, it was messed up. I was dating this guy, and he was awful. He was very abusive and very violent, right? But I really loved him very much, and that was the problem with it, right? So, but it was one of those days where things were good, and he wasn't, right? And we came home. Me and my best friend came to my house, my trailer that we lived in. My boyfriend and I, and we got there, and we're like, okay, we had a cooler full with Coronas, it was cool. We had a good time. And we're at the house, and suddenly the electricity goes out because somebody hit a pole. It wasn't because I didn't pay my electric bill, because my electric bill was always very low in the trailer, because I just had one window unit in the house. That was it, because this is a small 2-bedroom trailer. And the window unit was good. It just kept the whole thing cool. It was good. So the electricity went out, and we were pissed because we had bought everything to make tacos. Because his family his family was half Spanish, from Spain, and the other half was Mexican. So his family he had 3 sisters. His mom, his real dad was not in the picture anymore. Long story, whatever. But stepdad or whatever. And these guys, Hispanic people, they're very similar to Serbian people when it comes to this aspect. They have a huge family, and they'll all be cooking together, and it'll all be this big thing, right? It's just regular dinner, but so they taught me how they make their tacos, so his family taught me how to make the really good tacos, and the other things that I forget the name now. enchiladas or burritos, one of those things. Whatever. Anyway, so I knew how to make that shit, and I was like, let's make tacos. I had gotten all the stuff that we needed, but then electricity went out. So we literally ended up cooking the ground beef. That's when I still ate meat. We went to the fire pit outside, and we put the ground beef in a pan, and we were cooking that ground beef on the fire pit, or he was. My boyfriend at the time was. He was cooking the meat on the fire pit, and we still ended up eating tacos, and we had our cooler filled with ice with Coronas, no electricity. But the whole neighborhood didn't have electricity, so we were all outside. Everybody was like drinking. Yeah, and it was fun. I'll remember that for a while. Yeah, that was fun. We had good times, man. Yeah. Bad times too, though. Oh man, it's so unfortunate that guy was like that. So unfortunate. Because that was the only guy ever in my life where I really was like, okay, I can see me marrying this guy for love. I can see me having kids with him. I wanted all of that with him. And then, fucking, I don't know, 6 months or so into the relationship, shit started hitting the fan, and then I stuck around for another year and a few months dealing with that shit. And then finally one day I fucking just, he went to work, and I fucking packed all my shit up, and I went right next door, because my mom lived right next door. And I went over there, and he was, I could hear him scream when he came home. I could hear him scream and freak out, and I'd break shit in the house because I wasn't there anymore, because I had left. And it was the worst breakup in my life. I had never felt worse in my life when it comes to like a breakup, besides, of course, when my parents died, that was the worst. But when it came to anything besides that was so fucking bad breakup wise. It was the worst feeling in the world. It was horrible. And it was like he was fucking psycho, because he would stalk me, right? He would go to the bars that I would go to. Suddenly he would show up there. What the fuck, And with his friends. And he'd be over there in the corner with his friends, but constantly looking over at me, And then he would take a chair, and he would sit underneath the tree in the yard with a handle of liquor and just sit on the chair and just stare. I can see him. I would look through the bathroom window, and he can't see me looking through there, right? But I'm looking through there, because it's like this frosty window, but there's like a crack on the side that I can see through, and I'm looking out there, and I see him, and I'm like, he's sitting in the darkness underneath the tree with a handle of vodka, and is just staring at the trailer for like hours at night. Then he would come over onto the property. And my mom was like, and he's a former Marine, right? So he's fucking like, my mom was like, that guy's going to come in here and he's going to murder us all. And she really was scared like that. And one morning, I guess he came over there, and he was like knocking on, and I was sleeping. I was sleeping. But my mom then came in my room after he had left. My mom came in the room. Wake up. I'm like, what? It was like 7 or 8 in the morning. She said he was just here. Drunk. Completely drunk, stinking of alcohol. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, it's 8. So what happened? She said, he asked if he could see you. I told him he can't. I told him, I'm sorry, you cannot see her. You have to leave immediately. She said, what else am I supposed to do with the boy? And I could tell that my mother was like, she didn't want this to be like that, right? She felt bad. She felt so bad, because she knew how bad I felt, and she felt bad that she had to tell him, but she understood that this man was violent, and he was dangerous. He was dangerous, and he almost killed me multiple times. One time he threw me down the stairs. The other time he choked me. Like, she couldn't, And And it was so messed up because, you know, this is the psychic, this is the witch. Because when I first dated him and I brought him home to my mom, and I was so proud to introduce him. It's like former Marine, and look, he's like 6 foot, and he's so handsome, and he's so well spoken, and he's so all this, and he works hard, and all of this shit. And the first day, my mom looked at me, she said, "There's something wrong with him." I said, "What?" I said, "There's nothing wrong with him. He's perfect." You know? My mom's like, "Nope, there's something wrong with him, and I cannot put my finger on it." And there was no sign. There was not one sign of him being anything like that, you know? And I was like, and my mother and I would be in constant arguments for the first few months. In constant arguments because I defended him. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. And then he started becoming abusive. And then it was like, then I was so, like, my brain was so wrapped around him that now I was defending him because I just gave a shit more about him than anybody else in the world. Because he had me so manipulated. It was because he was one of those Marines that was trained to emotionally and mentally manipulate people. That was his job in the Marine Corps when he was overseas. He had to literally infiltrate these families and manipulate them in order to get information on things, right? And that's what he did with me. He had me literally for a year and a half, and then and after I left the relationship, a couple months, you know, the first couple months, of course, was horrible, and I was suffering, I was crying every day, and it was really bad. But then I realized, I saw pictures of myself, and then I realized, like, what happened to me? That's not even me. Like, I saw pictures of myself in the relationship. I was like, oh my God, what am I wearing? My hair, I had my hair cut differently, dyed different colors. Like, I had blonde in my hair, guys. Blonde? What? Like, he had me so fucking psychologically that I was a completely different person. I wasn't even myself anymore at all. And it took me a long time. It took me a long time to be myself again. And then I still, to this day, I hate saying this like this, suffer from PTSD. But it's like, there are these things where I act upon something because, for instance, I have a boyfriend and he'll say something and I will immediately go up the wall because I'm immediately thinking he's trying to control me. He's trying to manipulate me and control me. Because I have like this PTSD now. Because now it's like my subconscious thinks that everybody's going to do it. Everybody's going to do it. Like you cannot let anybody tell you anything anymore. You know what I mean? It's like it lingers. And it's been, man, I mean, it's been like so 3 years. Yeah, it's been like 6 or 7 years, you know. And still horrible. No, it's been longer than... That's not true. No, it's been like 10 years. It's been like 10 years. Right? Yeah. 10 years. And I remember he would always like be so hateful about my mother, right? Fuck your mom. I hope your mom fucking dies. And then it was like when we had broken up and everything, he then found himself. Thank you, Florida Metal. It's an experience gathered, right? It's something that shaped me for the rest of my life. That's just how it is, you know. That's just something that happened. And I should have been smarter. I should have listened to my mom. I should have listened to her. But he then got a job in the same square that I was working at in a different restaurant across the street from me. Like, it was fucking... I alarmed my managers. I alarmed everybody. I said, guys, that fucking guy, blah, 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 blah. It's okay. You know how people are. Nah, he's not going to do anything. And he didn't. But then I remember my mom died. And it was like, we had this mutual friend. And I was at one of the bars in the square having a drink, and she came over there drunk as fuck. And she always tried to sleep with him, right? She was always trying. I think they even may have, whatever. I don't fucking care. It doesn't matter anymore. But she came over there, and she knew my mother had passed away and stuff, and I don't know how long ago it had been, like maybe a couple weeks or so. And she came over, and she's like, hey, I was just over there, how are you doing? I was over there with so-and-so, because he was a bartender, having a drink there, and he says he's so worried about you now that your mom passed away. I said, he's worried about me? What are you talking about? That fucking asshole tried to kill me, man. That asshole beat my ass. And you want to tell me he's worried? He cursed my mother. He said he wanted her to die many times. And now you're coming over here telling me he's worried about me? I'm like... And she was in shock. She couldn't believe that. I was like, you both can just, like... I don't want to hear it. Like, don't do that. Even you should know. Why are you even hanging out with this guy? It was so crazy because he was such a manipulator with everybody. It was smiling. Always smiling. His handsome smile. He had everybody wrapped around his finger. Nobody believed me. Nobody fucking believed me. Until one day, we had a huge party at the trailer with like 30 people. It was insanity. And he choked me in front of these people. But I'm talking about he grabbed me and by my neck and lifted me up and held me there. And then he dropped me on the ground. Because then people started jumping on him. And I had two friends that actually jumped on him. One was like clinging on to him. Like I said, this guy was huge. And the other one and they were beating his ass. Beating his ass. And then my friend threw me in our car. I locked the car. And he fucking tried to rip the door off the fucking car and started pounding the car, dude. He put dents in the whole car trying to get me out of that car. It was insanity. It was insanity. Fucking crazy. And the last encounter I had with him, I knocked him out. He came to my house. I was so stupid still. Because he had now moved out of the trailer that we had lived in together. And I moved in there by myself. My mother said, do it. I was like, I don't want to live there. But I did it. I cleaned it up. I did it. And it was actually nice. It was okay. And it wasn't like, traumatic or anything. It was actually nice. I lived there by myself for like a year and a half. And it was really nice. And one night, we started talking again because he called me one night. He was in jail. And he called me from jail to bail him out of jail. And I did it. I fucking bailed his dumbass out of jail. And so we talked again as friends, And then one night he came over. And he came over with his new girlfriend. And I said, whatever. And she was like an admirer of mine. It was weird. She loved me. She would always bring me gifts. And she would always she treated me like a goddess. It was really kind of strange. I don't know. But she was very nice, I don't know. So it was like, whatever. So they came over and he got drunk and he got in one of those fits, right? But now this time was different because, things are different now. Yeah, and I fucking... He grabbed me by my hair and lifted me off the ground by my hair. Did the same to her at the same time. I was able to free myself. And then... he still had her, and I cocked my arm back, and I looked up at him, and I hit him as hard as I could, right in the fucking, right there, and he fucking tumbled, and fucking, boom, boom, 235 pounds, right there, dropped on the ground. I was like, okay, good. Now that we got this under control. Yeah, but the problem was he didn't lay there for long. Then he got up, and then he started fucking pummeling me like fucking. And at some point, I must have hit him more. I think actually I hit him a few times in the face. I hit him multiple times really hard in the face until he finally, and then so he fucking, I don't know how this all ended. I don't remember, but the next day it was he was at his job. And my whole friends, they were like, let's go there today and fucking get drunk there where he's working. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. They're like, no, you need to, because you know why? He is black and blue. He's not even recognizable, and he's at work. I said, no way. Because, you know, in the restaurant, in the streets like this, in small towns, everybody knows everything all the time. So word had already spread. I was like, no. I had black hair. My eye was a little bit black here. That's all I had visible, right? My scalp was in pain because, you know, he had me by my hair like this. So my whole scalp here was in so much pain. It was unbelievable. But it was whatever. So I was like, really? He's black and blue there? Yes. People were talking about what the fuck you did to him, right? And I was like, okay. So we went there. We sat at the table, not at the bar. And he came out there. And he's at the bar. And I look and I'm like, oh my God. He was like the one side of his face was like that. Like literally the one side that I was just like, was completely swollen, black and blue and everything. And the other bartenders were talking shit and making fun. Look what you did to him. Look what you did to him. And I was like, yeah, that's what I did to him. Knocked his ass right out. I don't care. Hey, Skinny. Hey, Cheese Leaf. How are you doing? And now nobody's heard from him in years. Nobody knows what happened, where he's at. Last time I heard he was in jail again. I tried everything with this man. I swear. I tried everything. I loved that man to death. I did everything for him. No. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm glad you guys are all here. This is a good thing. Let's do it. Let's do it. You want to know something in particular, Cheese Leaf, or you just want to have a general? Oops, a general one. Alright, I got you. Alright, let's see. Yeah, crazy story, guys. Crazy story. One of the crazy, insane stories of my life. This is a story from when I'm in the U.S. I have plenty of stories when I still lived in Europe. All in a day's work, I guess. Oh, you know what, Cheese Leaf? I think I pulled this card for you almost every time that you have come here. I cannot believe this. I cannot believe this. Okay, metaphysical fact. I gotta think about that one, but I will come up with something. Let's start here. The Three of Hearts. Longing, or the Three of Hearts. The Three of Swords. Longing for an absent love, loss, heartbreak. Okay. What's going on there, Cheese Leaf? I can swear I've had this for you before. I'm so sure. The Lovers inverted. Pretty obvious, if you ask me. It is separation. It is, division and conflict. Okay. But then we have this. And this is a good card. This is the King of Wands. This is a very good. A loving and caring father figure. A wise leader. Okay. That is something around you. Maybe that's somebody that's around you, or maybe that's you yourself are it. Okay. A married man. Okay. Loving parental qualities, wise leader, as I already said. Yeah. So that's good. But your lovey-dovey stuff is not good. So Yeah, there's something going on there. So let me think about this fact. Let me think. Damn. You gotta let me think. Digging and I'm digging and I'm digging. Oh my God! Why am I not? Why am I not thinking of something? Damn, man. Maybe I'm focusing too hard. Maybe I'm focusing too hard. Esoteric. So, esoteric is like, it's kind of tricky to explain. It has kind of like multiple meanings. So, esoteric in a way is like means unique, kind of, right? Different from other things. It also means outwardly. Okay, so it's like God outwardly. Just like exoteric. Exoteric is another term. Exoteric is like God outwardly, but coming back. Okay? Let me make sure. Let me find the better words. I have always still this problem with translation, you know, translating things from English or from like how I would say it in German, for instance, to English. If my phone is gonna look at this, what the fuck is that? That's nothing. It's a black screen. That's okay. Ugh. Fucking weird. Okay. So I want to make sure that I explain this right because intended for or likely to be understood by only a small number of people with a specialized knowledge or interest. Okay. The quality of having an inner or secret meaning. This term is correlative. Exoteric were first applied in the ancient Greek mysteries to those who were initiated within and those who were not outside. Exo, okay? So yeah, I pretty much explained it the right way then. We always, it's kind of like always applied to God in a sense, right? So esoteric is like you know, I guess esoteric is God outside but coming back to you, like in the satanic sense almost, right? And exoteric is God is completely out, right? So that's like the Gnostic way, in a way of seeing that. Okay, so but God as in secret knowledge, secret wisdom, right? Because we can interpret all of this. It depends, you know. It depends on where does your spirituality lie, where does your religious beliefs lie, and so on and so forth, you know. So that's what that means. Now, I'm still thinking about that metaphysical fact, though. Mm-hmm. It'll come to me. It'll come to me. It'll come to me. It will come to me. So, I guess we could consider. I know a little bit of a fact. I guess we could consider this, in a sense, metaphysical, because it's not like there is not really a mathematical equation to it yet, I don't think, but it is something that we're right now in the process of learning. Okay, that trees communicate. Okay, trees communicate, and not how people would always think, like humans do, from the top, right? Because our head is the top, our mouth, that's speech. They communicate through their roots, okay? Because the underneath the road, underneath the grass, everything, there's a huge system of roots, all connected, right? All interconnected. All of the trees, if you go into a forest, all of these trees are connected. And the way they do communicate is they literally warn each other of dangers occurring, or something like this, through vibrations, because their roots are connected. That's a fun fact, right? That is something that we have recently figured out, and that is something that is being explored by scientists, if you will. I'll give you another one. For instance, have you ever heard of grounding? Grounding is a very good technique to. It is, in a sense, a cleansing technique, and it's also kind of a meditative technique. Grounding is when you go out into an area that is not, that doesn't have any industry, right? No roads, into a foresty area, or even the beach would be something like that, a natural area, and you tread on the ground, but you tread on it with bare feet. Even if you go into the ocean with bare feet, if you walk through the woods with bare feet, or you go into the springs with bare feet. And what happens is that it's very much recommended that you do this for a while, walking and even standing with your bare feet on the ground, because what happens is that you release electrons, negative electrons, out of your body through your feet into the earth, and you collect through your feet into your body electrons that the earth sends out to you. And it's like a symbiotic exchange, and it's like an energetic exchange, and it is very healthy for you to do, because it feeds your inner core, your chakras, if you will. Gave you 2 for 1 today. Yeah, so that's a very good. You're welcome. That is the main priority. Whenever I go to the springs or the beach, when I have the chance, I because you gotta concentrate a little bit, Do I think we see space? I mean, what we do see space, yeah, but we see dark matter and solid as well as gaseous planets. I don't know if that's what you're really talking about. But yeah, at night when you look up in the sky. Oh. I was thinking for a moment that that's what you were talking about. That is dark matter. In my opinion, I don't know if there's That is dark matter. That is also part of metaphysical discussions, because everything is made out of atoms. Everything, even like solid objects, everything, squishy objects, even like gases is made out of tiny tiny atoms, right? So liquids, atoms. So what happens is that these tiny atoms are connected. They're like magnets, and that determines, and they're all magnetically connected, interconnected, and that also determines their density, right? Because this, for instance, is a card. It's made completely out of atoms, but it's a solid object that we cannot penetrate in this way, okay? But it is only because the density of these atoms are so dense that it makes a solid that we cannot. And what keeps these together is the dark matter in between the spaces. Because nothing is actually completely, the atoms don't completely touch. They're like this far apart, and in between them is dark matter, and that's like it acts like a glue that is holding these atoms together. Now, if you envision, if you concentrate and you meditate, you might be able to get a glimpse of the space between, right? For people like me, for instance, it's easier than for others. Like I'm doing it right now. I'm envisioning it and I'm seeing this space in between, right? Because I'm focusing on it, because you have put this now in my head, and because I have this, what do you call this? Clairvoyance in a way, like naturally. Well, I didn't have, it took many years, but so I can do this. Many people, anybody can do it. Anybody can do it, but many people are very ignorant and they don't pay attention to anything like that. They don't concern themselves with that, so they would never be able to even train themselves, But I do think that it's possible. Yeah, you can even feel it. It is all about the vibration. It's all about the magic in the air, the energy and the dark matter that's in the air, because it is. It holds everything together. So it's like if you really, really concentrate, when you can move your hand like this, and you can even feel you're pushing something. You can feel you're always pushing something. It's like you're in water. But you can not only do that if you can do that. You know what I mean? But it is true. We just haven't found the mathematical equation to it yet. But, we will. And then it will be on paper, and then we can know, and then we can manipulate it, then we can start working with it, and then we can stop calling it magic and calling it for what it is, the ultimate element, not ether, but akasha, rather. So, yeah, these are the things that I like to talk about, exactly. So it is really cool to know that when I look at a solid object, that this is actually not completely a solid object. It's made out of billions of little tiny things that all stick together like glue. It's fucking awesome. All of these things are very, interesting to think about. How is this all working? When you think about how everything that we do, everything that happens, everything that is made, everything is math. And this math applies always. Math always applies to everything, and it always works. It's so weird because math was invented, right? Math was invented. I believe Pythagoras was one of the first ones, the Greek, and he came up with the Pythagoras, the what do you call it? The triangle, right? With the certain angle. But you're in here. But it's like it makes you think, because everything is explainable through math, that which came first. Because it would make really, logically, would make way more sense that math was always there. That because of math and it was always there, everything works. And we just ended up at some point discovering math, okay? But now that makes you think, okay, so if that's the case, then wouldn't that be intelligent design? And then people could say, oh, okay, God did it, right? But it's like, no, it wasn't not a man with a white beard in the sky up there, right? Because that doesn't make any sense. That's a fucking cartoon, because it's not like that. But it is still questionable by intelligent design, right? By somehow intelligent design. And I'm also not speaking about aliens either. I'm speaking about something that we cannot even fathom. Like, we cannot even fathom these distant planets, how much bigger they are than even our sun. And we already know how much bigger is our sun compared to our planet. But these other planets that are just like, you cannot even imagine how big they are, and how big space is, and space keeps growing and expanding. Okay, so it's like, what's going on here? Where does this all come from? Where is everything come from? Everything. We can understand where our the living organisms, right? Bacteria grew, and then it was just like, it was Darwin, right? Darwin's theory of evolution. It's not a theory, right? It's called a theory, but we know it's true. We're just missing like one or two links in between, or I don't know, multiple links in between the different Homo sapiens, right? To be able to literally say, okay, this is scientific fact, the evolution, right? But we understand that it is common knowledge and common fact that we evolved from these bacteria, and then so on and so forth, and and it's like, to think we have understood this, we have done the science, we know how it worked, but we can never, we can know the Big Bang. Everybody knows the Big Bang happened, right? Boom, and here was the universe. But what was before that? And what was around? What was there? What was there? You see what I'm saying, guys? Like, I'm like desperate, because I'm just so like, what was it? What was before the universe existed? Before space? Das Weltall. All. All is what we say in German for universe, right? Well, Universum, but we say all because that's where Allvater comes from. Allfather, Odin. That's what we have everything based on. When we talk about our pagan gods, they're based on what really went down. Like, they're named after, they were people, and of course we have these extravagant stories about our pagan gods, how they created this and how they did this. These are fantastic stories, but it was more along the lines that these people existed. They reached the realm of godhood because of their clairvoyance. This is my own interpretation and opinion now that I'm speaking. But they were named after all of these things. Allvater, Allfather, Weltall, all. It's always that reoccurring word. Then you have the das Ur, das Universum, das how we say in German? We say die Urzeit, der Urvater. Ur means two things in German. Ur is the one. Ur means clock, but Ur also means uralt. For instance, means ancient. Ur means ancient. So we call the Allfather, we also call him not just the Allvater, but we also call him Urvater, the ancient father. Okay, or the Urfeuer, which is the ancient fire, which is the spark that created everything, right? These are things that happened, right? We know the scientific things that occurred, But of course, now our ancestors put this in these elaborate stories and these fantastical fables and stories and so on, and because they still had this beauty that they saw, because their eyes were unclouded, so they were able to. Of course, it kind of ruins the scientific aspect of it, but when it comes to the actual metaphysic and the fantasy and imagination aspect, they were able to enshroud that in these beautiful stories, right? But like I always say, all of these stories, everything is all based on facts and truth, but they just dressed it up to be, because like I said, Odin, and it's never really mentioned that Odin made the world in that sense either. It's not really said that way. It's always kind of beat around the bush. We have the story of Heimdall. Heimdall populated the earth, and this is not a story that's not could have not happened. This could have very well happened. The story that's described of how Heimdall populated the earth was literally that he would go to couples and he would he would travel. He came from Asgard, and he would travel to Midgard, which is earth, and he would go on his travels. He would stop at different people's homes, and it was usually couples, and he would say, hey, can I rest here for a night or so? And they would welcome him into the home, and it was just pretty much like these couples were like, okay, we want to have kids, but we cannot have kids for whatever reason. They couldn't explain it at the time. Medical advancement wasn't there to be able to determine why pregnancy was not possible between two people. And then so in the story would occur that Heimdall would sleep with them in bed in between them, and the next day, the wife of the guy would be pregnant, right? Because he impregnated her, and he did this in multiple houses. That's not something that is like crazy. That could have very much occurred. And everybody always has to understand too that when we speak about the world nowadays, we talk about the whole world. Back then, people weren't able to travel in these distances. So when they spoke about world, they spoke about their little area with their little tribes that they were in. That was their world. So they will give the story back to you and saying he populated the world, when in all reality he populated maybe a town with kids, impregnating a bunch of women, and that's how he populated the town. But it's very well. But they do say that he is our common ancestor. For all humans in the world. Okay, but but that's the thing. Everything started from somewhere, but see, these are the stories. But godhood is reached, and I've talked about this before. Helena Blavatsky brought it in this really good way. Now, she always spoke about that there were two different evolutions of the physical evolution, and then you had the spiritual evolution that nobody ever talks about, but that has definitely happened because we have become more conscious. We have become more cognitive, right? Because technological advancement would never be possible if we remained in the same, mindset. Our brains grow, we evolve, we get smarter, right? So this is what happens then. Everything evolves. So what is always talked about is about the physical evolution of creatures, but it's never talked about the spiritual evolution. But there was also a spiritual evolution at the same time as there was a physical evolution, right? For all creatures. And so it literally, when it comes to this, now this is kind of back to the physical, but this is kind of like the physical and the spiritual combined in a way. It's like she said, from like rock to plant, from plant to animal, from animal to human, from human to spirit, and from spirit to God. That is the evolution of us. Now, what she also does speak about is that when, and at the time of your death, if you have lived your life really thinking, really honing your spirituality, really honing your your meditation, and how you can step into the other realm, if you will, then upon death, your spirit that releases from you has a higher chance of sticking together than if you live a life of, never, of ignorance, of never going deeper within yourself, and never, really honing and, evolving your own cognitive abilities and your spiritual and emotional and all these abilities. Because then when you die, your spirit will release, and it will only but scatter. It will completely scatter, and it will not find its way back together, because it's literally like a bag of sand that just flies open, and then there's no way to pick, how small is a sand corn. That's what she speaks about. Now, if you do your spiritual research and mending and all of these things, then when you die, your spirit has a higher chance of sticking more together. It's of course, she explained it way better than me, but that's the sense of it. So these are those things that we can know. Okay, that can make sense. That can make sense, but then religion gives us other ideas too. And it's the same when you think about in the pagan religion. You go to Helheim to be judged. You go to the thing. It's called the thing. Thing, literally, is what it's called. Thing, which is like it's Judgment Day, pretty much, just like the Christians have. And then you will be judged upon, will you be now sent to Valhalla? Will you be sent there? Or will you be sent back to Earth, because you have to go through another cycle, because you missed opportunities that you didn't have before, that you didn't take, so you got to do it again. Or you got to do it because you're being punished, or you're condemned to stay in Helheim, which is not, it's not like the Christian thing. It's not where you're like in eternal flames. No, it's just another realm of the gods and the Jotuns where they dwell, but we can understand that there's similarities, right? Because we have a thought, and we have a hope, really, that there is something when we die, that something happens, and it's just for us to, there have been people that did die, and then they came back, and then they talked about it, and some people, they talked about how they didn't see anything, and it was blackness. And then there's others that saw things, and you can always kind of know the people that saw nothing, their spirituality was not really honed, in that sense. And the people that did see something, like I said before, I've said this many times before, a friend of mine said very wise words, what I consider high Promethean, what I do consider to be very wise words, because I do believe that, and it just kind of aligns with what I was saying about your spiritual evolution, is that when you die, you go where you want to go. You go where you want to go. And because I think there is still a way of thinking and having your spirit somehow think and push into where you want. That's why I always have this thing within me, which I do not feel as hope, because I know the feeling of hope. Hope is a different feeling, but I always have this little tiny feeling in the back of my thing that tells me I will see my parents again. I will see them again, and I don't know where this is coming from. But it's so there, and it just doesn't go away. Like, it's like a fact. And it's like, why? Why is this a fact? Like, why? Because I do have my very satanic side that says, there's nothing. When you die, that's it, But I still have this thing there that I know it's not hope, because hope doesn't feel like this to me. It is literally telling me that I will see them again. And I wonder this all the time. Why is this there? Why is that there? That I know, like this knowledge that I will see them again. It's weird. It's very weird. Does not align at all with my beliefs, because even my beliefs determine, yeah, okay, something happens. I believe that my spirit will go, and that's it. I don't believe that I will see them like that, but something there is telling me that I will see them. And I have always this something that's there always. I always say that because it's in the back of my head that I think about this, that this comes up. Has like 90% been right in my life, so it's kind of like, okay, I don't know what it is. I don't know, but one can only hope. We'll see what happens. The time will come for all of us, so. But yeah, these are these things that are very interesting to think about. That's why I always say, when it comes to spiritual, people do not speak about her enough. But when it comes to the esoteric and the metaphysical, please research Helena Blavatsky. She was one of a kind woman, for sure. It's the same with, this is a good, Promethean, you had a good day, Star Wars day today. That is a really cool thing that I think about all the time too. Star Wars, when you look at the movies, the way everything is portrayed in the movies, it is absolutely going to be like that one day. You guys realize that, right? This is exactly what's going to happen as we evolve as humans. We will be able to telepathically move things with the Force. These things will happen. These things will completely happen. All of these things. Because we're already doing it. We're doing these certain of these things that are portrayed in Star Wars. We already kind of do them. Just on a very, very low level. Because we have not yet evolved into the species that will be able to do that. But it is literally like telepathically communicating. We're doing that, but we're doing it unpurposely and unpurposefully, right? Because we cannot control it yet. It's not strong, so it doesn't happen all the time, but when it happens, it seems like a coincidence, but it's not a coincidence. It's just something that we cannot consciously control yet. But I do it all the time with my brother. It happens all the time. But we just cannot control it. I feel like if my brother and I actually spent time honing this, we might be able to get a glimpse of being able to actually do that stuff, right? He can hold a card, or he can think of a number, and I call the number. I think we can make progress there. Now, that reminds me of Ghostbusters in the beginning. Remember, fucking he holds the card, he's like, what do you see? And whenever they say something wrong, they get electric shocks. Remember that? Ghostbusters? Oh my god, that was so funny. And it's the right, and he's like, wrong. But whenever the pretty girl gets right, he's like, can you see through these? Wow, you're so good. And it's like, okay, Venkman. No, it's Peter. No, wait a minute. Yeah, it's Peter Venkman. Yeah. Hi, Queen of Cups. I hated that part too. I hated that he did that with the electric shock. That was so mean. It was mean. It was really fucking mean. Yeah, but it did remind me of that. Now, I found it funny how he reacted with her, but how he treated him was so fucked up. Fucking torturing with electric shock. Like, what the hell? But hi, Queen. Good to see you. But I do love that movie. That movie's so good, though. It's so wholesome. All three of them. And then it's just like, the new ones, that was like but the worst remake. I mean, that shit was a total flop. It sucked. And and I was all excited about it too, because it was women now, right? It was all women. And I was like, oh, yes, that's great, right? No. And I really have to say, me as a woman, I really have to tell you guys, I shouldn't, maybe I shouldn't say this, but you did? Oh, no, I thought it was, I think honestly it's difficult to find actually really funny women. Fucking kill me, but the comedians that I like to watch are men. Like, there's like here and there will be a woman and she'll be hilarious, right? But oftentimes I'm not. I cannot laugh about this. I don't know why. Yeah, there was a lot going on in the movie. I remember that. It was a while since I watched that. But yeah, this is like a comfort movie of mine. The original ones. The original ones, like, I have this when I get in certain, you know, feels. I like to watch certain movies. Like Ghostbusters is always a go-to. It gives me the feeling of being back in the 90s, sitting there with fucking kettle corn in Germany in the living room on the ground and watching Ghostbusters with my best friend. And my parents are out on the town and we're ordering pizza and doing all that stuff. And yeah, I remember that. Same with the movie like Turtles, the original Ninja Turtles, the movies with the guys in the costumes. That shit was the shit. And that remake I loved. I thought it was so great. With the where they're like computer animated. Oh man, that was great. I saw that in movie theaters. I really liked it. I thought it was good. Yeah, I have all of these certain movies on my computer. So it's like, oh, when I get into these certain things, then I watch certain movies. I think all of us probably do that though. So I'm thinking, guys. I'm thinking. What if? Because this was a nice conversation, right? I think this was nice. Nobody. A couple of you retrieved a couple of readings, but nobody retrieved an altar item or hydration, which is fine. I don't need you. No, let's go. Okay, Florida Metal, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do it. Which one? I gotta think. Okay. Okay, what am I gonna show today? Okay, I think I have an idea. Oh yeah, this is good. This is really good. Now, mind you, the person told me this. I do not know. I have no actual like paperwork on this or anything like that. But I have trust, So this right here looks like an ordinary piece of stone. But it is not. This is actually a piece of stone from the house that Edgar Allan Poe either lived in or died in. One of those things. But Edgar Allan Poe was in this home. And this is a piece from that house. Was given to me by a good friend. And it's on my altar. Pretty cool, huh? I know, right? Yep, it is pretty nice. Yeah, all of things like these I collect on the altar. So my altar is just like energies. When I look on it, it's just like, it's insane. It's awesome. But it's all in this confined area, But it's really good. It's so many different things. Yep. Hmm. I wonder if my little kitten is like going crazy down there without me. God, he's been crazy. No, but what I was gonna say is I'm really glad we had this conversation today, and I'm really glad maybe Florida Metal at least you could maybe apply this electron exchange one day, because it is really, it feels good. I do it all the time, and it's like I can feel um you know my energy levels just being cleared out a little bit, you know what I mean, like cleaned out, if you will, and it feels good. It really does feel good. Unfortunately, I don't get to go to many places, but when I do, then I take full advantage. My brother was just at the beach the other day. He was at the Gulf Coast side, which the Gulf Coast is so nice, right? It's very pretty and nice. But it's very quiet there. There's no waves. It's very quiet. Sea. The sea there is very quiet. But yes, you should definitely do it. But see, I'm a girl of action, right? So, but sometimes no, but I like the Atlantic side because the Atlantic side has the waves, and I need the waves. I need them. I need them. That is a technique. For instance, one of the meditation techniques that I learned that's very good to use when you find yourself in the area where you can use it, which is like kind of like not something that happens for me here. But if you live somewhere in like North Carolina or something, and you can go to the mountains and you can go to the creeks that flow through the mountains, it's perfect. I wish I had this book or would have read this book before I went to North Carolina for my trip, but unfortunately I read it after, so I didn't know. But there's a wonderful meditation technique. You can apply this in other ways too, but when it comes to this, you can sit on a rock that is placed in the middle of the stream of the creek, and you must sit facing the way that the water flows, right? Not the opposite. So you want to face this. If the water flows this way, you want to face this way, okay? And then you sit and you meditate, and you really meditate on that this water that's beneath you is cleaning you out. It is cleaning everything out, and the stream is taking everything that is like weighing on you, that's in you, that needs to come out, is cleansing you. It's a cleansing stream that flows beneath you, and it's great. It's a really great meditation technique. And now I have applied this, because you can apply this in other ways, of course, because it's just a technique. This is of course an ideal situation, but I have applied this to the wind, for instance, right? That is something that I've also read in another book, and it's the same principle. When it is a very windy day out there, it is very it's advised to really go out there and really just sit there on a higher platform of some sort, and let the wind really blow around you and through you, and apply the same meditative technique to it. Let the wind blow this out of you, right? Out of your head, out of your heart, out of your mind, out of your spirit. Let the wind have a cleansing effect on you, and it helps. It is really like, after you're done. Now, of course, I say this because for me it's easy, because I can snap myself into this mindset very easily, because I've had much practice over so many years. For beginners or people that never do it, it's hard, right? To just sit there and then you itch there, and then you scratch there, and then you're like, you hurt something, and then you can, it's hard to be able to focus and really just don't do that. But with practice, you can just start in small ways. You don't have to force yourself for 30 minutes to do that. Start small. Do literally 5 minutes. Try to do it 5 minutes in the beginning. Try to do it 5 minutes. Envision a screen, like a theater screen, where it has the numbers and then it counts down. You could start at 10, you could start at 3, whatever is comfortable for you. A big black 3, a big black 2, a big black 1, and then after that you have to completely let everything go. Let it go. That does not mean that you cannot think about anything, but don't direct your thoughts, because we automatically direct our thoughts all the time, right? We don't know, but we direct our thoughts. We control our thoughts. What we think about is not uncontrolled. It is literally there are the circumstances and situations and feelings that drive us to think certain things, okay? Don't do that. Just let whatever. And it will be a little bit scary, because you will literally hear and there will literally like be all kinds of shit going on. It'll just be going crazy in there. But just let it. For as long as you can, just let it. And relax. Just relax. Okay? Because nothing can happen to you. You are in a safe, completely safe area. Nothing can happen, because you will, if you have a person that is prone to anxiety, things like that, you will freak out. You will be like, what the hell is going, like, oh my god. It's normal. And it is also helpful to breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your mouth. Which is also, if you do it that way, it's also another way of concentrating, of centering yourself, if you will. Centering yourself is very important. You can do that in many different ways too. These are some of these things I'm talking about right now. I learned in the book The Urban Monk. It's a very great and helpful book. For instance, the stream meditation I learned from this book. So you breathe in through your nose, and you imagine yourself breathing in clean, everything clear, everything positive, white, whatever, and you breathe out like smog. You breathe out the negativity, you breathe out the stuff that no longer serves you, if you will. Now, another way of, and that's how you can center yourself. You can meditate this way, and just think about your breathing the whole time. For me, it comes naturally, like whichever one, however I feel, then I can know, okay, I'm going to be doing this today. I'm using this today, There's another technique, for instance, you can sit. And you can imagine, you can sit anywhere you want. The biggest part is you want to be comfortable. You have to be completely comfortable in the position that you sit, but you have to be in kind of like an open position a little bit, right? So you can, welcome these things in and let everything exit that needs to exit. You can do something that you can imagine a warm ball of light, okay? And the warm ball of light can start wherever you want. It can start here at the center of your being, right? And then you let this ball of light spread out, okay? And what you do is you let the light spread out when, you sit like this, or however you sit. You let this light now go slowly all the way through your arm, into your hand, into the tips of your fingers. Then you let it go back. Then you do the same thing with this arm. Then you let it go all the way down your leg. And envision this ball of light going there and essentially warming your extremities, okay, to make yourself comfortable. And at the end, you let this light go through your throat. Feel it go through your head all the way to the top of your head, and then leave through your head. You have already meditated now. You have already, because you can already know, because you have just totally focused on it, that you're already feeling a little bit in the Zen mode, if you will. If you do something like that. It is anything that you want, whatever can help you. Anything. The biggest thing is a slow process, and something that will not cause you anxiety. Something, the breathing is probably one of the best ones, where you really breathe in. Imagine breathing in fresh energy, and exhaling stagnant energy. These are just some of the things that you can do. It is kind of funny that I find myself talking about meditation so much today, because as I was taking a shower today, I was thinking to myself, what could I talk to them about today? Maybe I should strike up the conversation about meditation. And I never said anything about it, but here we are talking about it. Yeah, these are things, and it helps. And like I said, you don't have to sit there, because I have read many books on meditation, and some of these are really like these tutorials. They're like harsh. They're like, you gotta be at the wall upside down with your head on the ground and make sure the blood keeps pumping. And it's like, oh my, oh, okay, I will. If that's how I can find spiritual enlightenment, I'll do whatever it takes. You know, and it's like, whoa, dude, slow your roll. You came off a little bit strong there. You know, it doesn't have to be like that. It's all to your discretion, to your comfortability. Start small, because I remember how, oh my God, I remember my first times meditating. It was excruciating. It was fucking excruciating, because I couldn't. I was just like, I'm closing my eyes. I'm like, oh my god. No, I gotta do this. Oh my god, I still gotta do the dishes. Like, I couldn't. It was impossible. And it took many times, practice, training. And it's like, and then sometimes I would take like a break for like 2 weeks, and that was a bad idea, because I would be out of it again. Not as much as I was before. I'd kick back in rather quickly, but I was still out of it, and it's like, okay, it's like anything else that you practice in life. You need to be a little bit consistent with it, in a way, right? To get better at it, to keep it stabilized and at a certain level where it is actually beneficial for you, where you get better and better. You gotta do it frequently, and it's like, you can do it, you can set a schedule. You can totally set a schedule with this type of thing, you can do it spontaneously, of course, but it is actually preferred that you set a schedule. You say, okay, I don't work Saturdays and Sundays. All right, so Saturdays and Sundays, I'm going to take, I have enough time in the morning. Sometimes in the mornings actually very well to meditate, because you wake up, you're still fresh already, right? So your mind is still kind of like, okay, there's a lot of energy in you already when you wake up first thing in the morning. That's why in Germany, in schools, they really push that curriculums and academics, like in the mornings, really pushed hard, because your energy levels are still really good. That's a big thing. So you could say, okay, I wake up in the morning, I drink a cup of coffee or whatever you do, and you take 5-10 minutes, and you just sit in a nice area, and you just sit there, and you just meditate however you want. Just find your center. Just like, and again, whose advice taken better than my own, right? Of course. I have slacked on meditation very much in a while. And I can feel it. Because yesterday I had a little mini ritual. For skinny. But I there was not much meditation. It was really just like a reaching out, just a sending out, and I didn't really meditate much because I'm in a lot of turmoil, and I have a very hard time. But that's exactly the time when you should do it, But I will do what I can, when I can. But it's okay. For me now, at my time in my life, it is not something where if I don't do it for a while that I'm out of it, because I'm so flowing in there. My spirit is completely flowing in the ether, right? How they say that, it sounds so stupid, but that it's, I can sit down, and I can sit down for 5 minutes, and I will be in complete meditative state, and I can be there for an hour. But it is a craziness, and I still to this day kick myself out of it sometimes, because it goes very much crazy, after 30 minutes, because it just gets crazier and crazier and crazier, and then it kind of kicks over, right? And then it's just like, okay, it's fine. But there will be the time sometimes where I'm just like, okay, I gotta come out of there, because I am not even there. I'm completely wherever that is. It is really like I have to pull my whole self, and then I wake myself out of this meditation, and then I look around, and I'm like, okay, I'm okay, I'm here, okay, because I will. That is how much I have trained myself to be able to do that, and it's not for the lighthearted. Once you get to a certain level, you have to really just always remember that your spirit will go wherever it will go. Your mind will go wherever it wants to go, wherever it needs to go, because it is nature. It'll push itself. It'll go where it needs to go. And your physical body will be where it is, where nature intends everything to be, is where everything. Nature demands us all, right? We can talk about God. We can talk about this. We can talk about multiple gods. We can talk about no gods. We can know there's one God. And that is a physical God that we see every day, and that's nature. Nature determines everything. Nature determines whether your heart will have a heart attack or not. Nature determines whether the cancer will be eradicated out of your system. Nature determines everything that happens. Everything. Decides your death, decides your life. Nature is death in itself, right? So you just gotta go with the flow. Most cliche fucking thing, I know, but it really is the truth. You just gotta really. And for me it's hard, not when it comes to meditation, but in general, because anxiety is always there all the time. It's just like something that is embedded in me, where I think my mom did a lot wrong there. It's just like one problem is solved, you have to immediately think of the next problem and immediately solve that. Like, there's no break in between. That is how my whole mind is set up to prevention. My whole life is about prevention of bad things happening. Everything that I do in my life is to prevent from something happening. Like, literally. It's fucking nuts. Like, I am so systematically set that for a long time people didn't get, like, certain people around in my house, they're like, why? And then finally, like, I could never explain it for the longest time, and then finally I realized it, and finally I could explain it. I said, you must understand, when I tell you this, it's to do this or not to do this, is because I'm trying to prevent this and this from happening, because there's a domino effect to everything that happens. Everything that occurs, more things will occur, and the domino effect is a chain reaction, right? With everything in life, it's normal. But it's like, when I have certain rules that I set about, like, shoes in the house or whatever else, right? Just follow my rules, because what comes next, if you don't follow this rule, it's going to be all this shit. You want to go through that? Oh, no, you're right. You're actually right. I'm like, exactly. So just do what I tell you to do. Like, trust me. I'm preventing shit from going wrong, And it's a good mindset to have, because my life is completely, like, my household is very much under control and good and everything, but it's stressful, because my anxiety is always like. But I have, my days were better when I was more involved into my meditation. But I've told you guys before, my privacy hasn't really been there. I haven't had really the privacy that I'm personally looking for so much to do this. But it's kind of coming back now, okay? Because people are going to be kind of out of my house a little bit more, and then I can find this better. I can find this again, because that's the main thing for me. The only disruption for my meditation is not enough privacy. Even having somebody in the house, they can be in a completely different room. Even just knowing they're in the house throws me the fuck off. It makes me not, it makes it just a half-ass thing. And I can't, and I hate that. So now things will look up again. But yeah, start small. You don't have to go crazy. You don't have to go to these people. Like I said, they have these books and they tell you, you must. And they tell you these details and these, like, you have to sit a certain way and you have to do it this way. It's not like this. No, there are standards that you should have, certain ways. But all in all, it's up to you. Whatever is comfortable for you. That's the whole point about meditation, Yes. I can. Oh yeah, I can imagine. For me, it's like the partner, having a partner and sleeping with the partner, always in the same room. I can't do it. I can do it sometime. Sometimes, I want to do it, but it's like, when I don't want to do it, I want to be able to sleep by myself. I don't want to sleep with anybody. I just want to sleep by myself most of the time, because that's pretty much the only time I can actually sleep, most of the time. A lot of people have been commenting on my fundraiser for my cat, which is so nice, actually. Sorry, just checking my stuff here. Yeah, so I was thinking, guys, what time is it? Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I am very glad that... Is that a statue or is that a real person that he's standing next to? Well, either way, it's awesome. Really cool picture. I was thinking, guys, I've been on here for two hours now, talking to you guys, and it's been... Oh, it's a person? Okay. Mr. Weird, hello. How are you? Hope you're doing well. I'm okay. I am okay. Today was a good stream. I like when you guys are like actively typing in chat and you're engaging in the conversation, because it is really good. It makes me feel like I'm not having some weird ass monologue, And today, actually, people asked some questions, so that was nice, and I gave a couple of readings. Today was not. I think there's a little bit of shift in energy in magic around us a little bit right now. A little bit of more negativity pouring through again. That's what I'm kind of noticing, I think. That's cool. Nice. Yeah, so yeah, I had a couple of negative readings there and I feel bad, but sometimes that is, but everything passes, this too shall pass, This is how it is. We all have our stuff. Yeah. Yeah. But I was thinking, guys, since we had a good stream, I was thinking I might hop off now and I might come back on some Guild Wars 2, because I want to kind of now relax a little bit for the rest of the night and play some video games. So if you guys are down, I will be back. And if you guys are joining, you're joining, and if not, I know people are busy. I know you guys have lives and things to do and places to be. So I do want to thank everybody. I want to thank Promethean for being here. I want to say Queen of Cups, thank you. Florida Metal. All right, Florida Metal. Mr. Weird, thank you for popping in. I still gotta do that, man. Every time you stream, I'm fucking working. It's so annoying. Of course, Promethean. I totally understand. Get all the rest that you need for sure. I want to say Bone Lush was in here, I think. Emily was in here for sure. Emily, thank you for being here. Cheese Leaf was in here. I thought I hit Serenity. Thank you for being here. I think if I interpret this correctly, she called me Goth Kim Kardashian today, which okay, I'll take it. I'll definitely take it. I think that's it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, thank you everybody for being here. This was a really good stream tonight, guys. And I will be back tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Friday? Oh, no. Yep, tomorrow. But tomorrow is Guild Wars stream only, guys. So tomorrow... Oh, cool. Then I can have you play on the on my phone definitely while I'm killing some people with my Revenant. Yep. So that'll be definitely good. But okay, guys, listen. We want to raid some people here. Okay, so don't leave. I want to raid somebody. Let's raid somebody. Let me see who's on right now, and we're gonna raid them. I've been actually pretty good about remembering that. Maybe the Goblin Help Deck is on. Damn it, I don't see him. Damn it. Nope. Not on right now, I don't think. Nope. Shit. Let's see. Yeah, nobody really on that I can raid right now. Unfortunately. But it's okay. We'll do that next time. So, whoever is gonna... I'll be back in like probably 15-20 minutes. I'm gonna do some stuff real quick and then I'll be back, guys. Again, thank you everybody for coming. Sleep well, Promethean. Thank you for coming to Mr. Weird and Florida Metal and Emily and everybody. I'm gonna try to be in your stream, Mr. Weird. At least to say hi. You too, Promethean. And yeah, I'll be playing some Guild Wars here in a minute. So thank you guys. Always remember to mourn those in spiritual turmoil. We shall never forget about them. And have a good night. Tschüss, zdravo.